Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be introducing a new Node.js framework which is called as Meteor.js. We will be looking at how to make a CRUD REST API inside Meteor.js. Meteor is basically it's another framework of Node.js. It's a full stack framework. Basically it contains both the client and the server code. You can write it at the same time, and it's a very good alternative to frameworks such as Express, Kova.js, Next.js. So with the help of this framework, you can build out full stack JavaScript apps with Meteor. It can even uh, able to make mobile application, desktop applications as well. You can build it inside this. The installation part is very simple. You just need a single npm command here. Simply go to your command line, make sure that you have npm installed and Node.js installed, and simply execute this command npm i-g for globally installing Meteor. Meteor. This is the name of the framework. So simply install this framework by using this command. I have already installed it. So now if you execute this application, Meteor, just type this command. You will now see there will be some options right here. Now to create a new Meteor app, you will just write here Meteor and then create app. Create and then followed by your project name. Let's suppose I want to give here CRUD app. So if you click this command, if you enter it, now it will create a new Meteor project. So we will be looking at step by step how to create a REST API CRUD application using MongoDB database, which is built in inside Meteor. You don't need to use external database for this. It is built in inside the Meteor framework inside the memory. So it's a full stack framework, guys, to build out nice applications with the help of JavaScript. So this will be the application. Let me show you in the browser. So you can see this application is running on localhost 3000, the port number, and it is saying welcome to Meteor. And basically, guys, we can perform 4 operations. If you load the page for the very first time, nothing is present right here. So no record is present. So if I click this button right here, if I click this button, I need to create a new record out there. So if I click this, you will now see a title and the URL. So let's suppose I write a title of Google, and the URL I give here https google.com, and if I click the submit button, guys, in the form, this record will be saved right here. So if I reload the page here, you can see it is stored inside the persistent memory of MongoDB, which is built in inside Meteor. So basically you don't need an external database. You can now see we are not storing it inside any sort of MongoDB database. It is a built-in database, persistent memory. It is stored inside the memory, something like local storage or session storage. So we have two options out there. Either we can delete this database. If you click the delete button and refresh it, now you will see the entry is gone. And once again, let me add a few entries here, Google, and basically the link URL. It will create this nice little dynamic anchor element. So if you click this Google, you will be redirected to google.com. Simply you can create some more links out there, which is for GitHub. We create a link here, github.com. Simply click submit. Now you can see we have, let's suppose, for Facebook, https facebook.com. So now you can see we have 3 links out there, guys. If you refresh the page, it will list out all the links which are present inside the memory, inside the MongoDB database memory. So if you want to create a new one, let's suppose I type here Web Ninja developer. So I give the address webninja developer.com. So now you can see if you click it, it will redirect to the website here, basically the website. So this will be the application, guys. So there is an update button as well. So if you click the update entry, you can change the name here. Let's suppose I change it to GitHub 2 and click on submit. You can now see the changes are reflected back here. You can now see you can even update the entries, delete the entries. You can see that you can delete the entries, and you can even see all the entries which are present right here. So we can performing 4 operations: create, read, delete, update, which is a CRUD REST API. We will be developing it inside Meteor. So keep watching this tutorial, guys. At the end of the tutorial, you will be able to understand what is Meteor and how to develop a CRUD REST API. Please hit the like button first of all. For this tutorial, guys, I have written a complete blog post inside my website webninjadeveloper.com. So basically, guys, you can create any front end using Meteor.js. Specifically in this project, we are using React language, React front end framework, and we are using JSX. You can even build it inside Vue.js as well, Svelte as well. So various languages are there. Apollo, all the languages front end, you can use it. So let me give this link in the live stream so that you can basically get this source code. So get all the source code here. So I have given this source code in the live chat, guys. So simply you can download all the source code. So now let's get started by building this application, guys. So I will simply go to my projects folder and basically I will create a new directory here, cmd, and basically I will make a new directory which is called as Meteor project. And then I will open this inside the new directory, which is Visual Studio Code text editor. You will now see nothing is present right here. So we need to create a brand new Meteor application. So Meteor create, and then we will simply say CRUD app. So just write this command, guys. Now it will load all the packages. It will install all the packages which are required for this application. So you just need to wait for it is installing all the packages and the dependencies which is needed for your Meteor project. So just wait, it is installing it. So it will now create this folder, and basically this is the folder structure of a sample Meteor app. We have the client, we have the server built in inside a single folder. So mainly in full stack application you basically create a separate client folder and the server folder, but in Meteor it's a full stack framework so that all the client and the server folders are in the same file. In the client we have the CSS file, HTML file, and the JSX file. So here we are loading this application, we are embedding this React.js component which is app here. So basically this is similar to React.js. The front end similar to React.js. We are loading this component app component that we have defined in the imports array. This is the API here. We have links.js. So basically this is the database. So we are embedding the MongoDB database which is built in inside Meteor/Mongo. This is a simple module. And here we are creating a collection out there which is called as links. So you can create as many collections as you want. You just need to use this function which is called as collection. So we are exporting this as links collection. So this is built in. Basically, this is a built-in Meteor app. In the UI, guys, this is the front end, and basically this is our component that will show inside the browser. So this is our info component. This is a hello world component. So basically this is the actual app that we are loading here, guys. So inside this is a main file that we are embedding inside of a client folder. You can now see inside this render function we are passing this app component. We are importing it from the imports array UI app. So this is the actual app that we are importing here. So we have two components out there, which is hello and the info here, which is present inside the same folder. This is the hello component which is incrementing the button value by 1. So when we click this button, this increments this value by 1. So we are printing this value here. So if I now see here, this Meteor app is created. So if I move into the folder, try to run this application, guys. This is a command here. Simply you just need to write Meteor, and then it will prepare your project, and then it will start your project running. So make sure that you stop this server. So basically let me stop this server here. So it will start your application at port number 3000, guys. So the default port number is 3000. So make sure that you don't are using any sort of things while you are executing your Meteor project. So it is installing all the dependencies, building the dependencies. So it will start your Meteor application at basically at port number 3000. So it is starting the proxy, starting the HPR server. So it is linking all the dependencies. So just wait, guys, and basically it is linking it. So it is just developing it. So it will take some time for the very first time, but it has a hot reload functionality. So if you make any sort of changes, it will automatically restart the server for you. So don't need to manually start this. You can now see app is running on localhost 3000. So if you go to this address here, basically you will now see a sample Meteor app which is running inside your browser. So you will now see this is your app here. If you click this button right here, the value will be increased. You have pressed the button 10 times, 11 times, 12 times. This is a sample app which Meteor provides you. And basically, guys, the nice thing about this, you can create any front end. Basically, by default, React is used inside Meteor. If you want to create your app using different front end, let's suppose you want to use not React, you want to use Vue.js. So if you type your Meteor and create and then dash h, so this is for help purposes, you will now see React is the default one. React is default. By default, it will create it as a React application. You can even create it by Vue.js as well. Apollo, Svelte, TypeScript, Blaze, Tailwind. So it has all the options. Minimal, bare, list, example, package. You can even create a new Meteor package instead of an app. So all these options are available, guys. If you don't want to use React, then it is quite possible that you can use Vue.js, Apollo, TypeScript, Tailwind, depending upon Svelte as well. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So this is our sample Meteor app, guys. So first of all, we need to delete this hello component. We don't need this hello component. So we can delete this. So we can remove it from our hello file. And if you refresh it now, basically your hello component will not be shown here. So you just need to hot reload. Basically the functionality will auto reload. It is building out the application. Server restarted. You will now see this hello world is not showing here. We have deleted this. So right here, guys, we don't need to touch the client folder. Simply close the client folder, and we just need to make work inside links.js. This is exactly the code required for this CRUD application. We are building a Mongo collection. So the collection or the table name will be links. So here we will store all the information inside this links table. So you don't need to move this file. So simply close this. Now we will actually write our code inside our info.jsx file, guys. So here we will simply delete all this code from here and start from scratch. Simply delete all this code, and also delete this. So inside this we also have the server folder as well, guys. You can now see we have also got the server folder. Inside this we have a single file which is starting our server. Here you will now see these are the different functions which are there. Basically, now we will also be writing code inside the server file, guys. First of all, we will be manipulating our info.jsx file. So the very first thing we need to do, guys, inside this file here, basically we need to create uh, first of all, we need to have a simple form here where we will be creating new links. So right here, first of all, guys, for doing this, we will be declaring some hook variables. First one will be for form target, set form target. So this will be the one use state. We will use the use state hook of React.js. The value will be null by default. And for setting the error also, we will have a hook variable, guys, set error. And the default value for this also will be null. And then, guys, we will be basically will be inside our HTML. Basically we will be returning first of all we will have a simple h2 heading that Meteor React.js CRUD app in MongoDB. So right here, guys, first of all, basically we can uh, use the UL element, and basically, guys, here we need to loop through all the records which are available. So for doing this, first of all, we need to have a simple form here. Basically we can declare a function here. So instead of UL, basically we can here declare a function which is called as render link form. So this function we will execute, guys. We need to write this custom function right here at the very top. We need to define this function. So depending upon which button is clicked, guys, so render link form, we will execute this method. So this will be an arrow function. This is a functional component. You can see that inside this React.js. This is not a class level component. This is a functional component. So here, guys, our initial value of form target is null. So here, depending upon our form target value, guys, so basically if the form target is not null, we will first of all check by this ternary operator. If it is not null, then we will be embedding a new component which is called as link form. And basically we will be creating this component. If it is null, then we will be just returning null here like this. So if you just refresh your application, guys, you will now see the h2 heading here basically. And now the initial value is null right here. That's why it is returning null. We are calling this function. And then, guys, we will have a simple button here basically to create a new record. After this, if any sort of error take place, we will also have another function called as render error. So this function also we need to execute, guys. This will also be a arrow function, render error. So if any sort of error take place, we can render out this error. This will also be a arrow function. So here we basically, guys, we will return the error. This also we will check. This is a state variable here, use state variable. So first of all, we will check here if the error is there. In that case, we will use the ternary operator, and here we will simply say inside we'll print out the error message, error dot message. And if it is null, in that case we will simply put a colon symbol, and basically we will return null here. That's it. So once again, you will now see nothing will be there because error is null. So after this, guys, we will have a simple button here basically to create a new record. So right here after this, we will have a simple button here which will actually create a new record for us. So we will have this button here right here after this. So this label of this button will be simply create new link like this. So basically we need to attach a on click event handler to this button, guys. So whenever we click this button, what should happen? So when we click this button, this arrow function will automatically execute, which will make the value of set form target, this value to be, here we will attach a property to it, which is of type. So basically the type property will be equal to insert, because we are inserting a new record inside the database. So that's why the type property will be insert. So when we update the record, this type property will be equal to update. So depending upon which type property it is, we will be showing a different form, either update form or either create new link form. So this property is set to, guys, you can see that we are setting this property set form target. We are using this method of use state hook here. We are calling this method and we are manipulating this use state, the state variable, and we are passing an object which contains a property of type. So here we are initializing the insert property. That's it. So whenever we do this, guys, so as we are checking here inside our function, we are executing this function right here inside our DOM here. We are executing this function render link form. So basically this function will be executed, and basically it will check if the form contains a value, then it will basically calls out this component. So right here we need to write this functional component. So right here at the bottom we will basically write this functional component. So basically, guys, we will be having this property which will be passed to it, which will be of the type. So we need to pass in props here. So whenever we are calling this component, we need to pass a property here. So right here, how to pass this component here. So what we can do is that we can simply here pass this component here, which is equal to, let's suppose here, whenever we are doing this, we need to pass a property here, which is called as the type property here. We need to pass this property here, which is the type property, and this will be equal to the value of the form target dot type. So form target type. So we are passing a value here of the type parameter, which we are passing it as a property. So right here, this property will be received here inside this component. So right here, inside this component, guys, we will have the two properties which will be there, the title and the URL. So we will again use the use state hook. So the initial value of this will be basically null, and also for the URL also, guys, set URL like this. So basically, guys, here we will compare this property if type is equal to triple equal to, and here we will compare if it is equal to insert. In that case, we will perfectly know that this is a create form. We need to create a new form, create a new record. So we will call a method, guys, in this Meteor. We call this using this backend API. So basically it calls a method which is present inside the server main.js file. So here we need to define all the methods here. So we will later on see how to define the method. So we are calling a method inside our server side. This is a front end, this is a server side. So we are calling a method which is present inside the server side. So this is a method which is required, which is call method. This is very important. And here we need to give it a name to the method, guys, which we will define in the backend, which is links.create. Depending upon your application, you can change this name also. So here we will pass the property which is title and the URL to this method, and this callback function receives these two arguments, error and the response. And here we will check if any sort of error take place. In that case, we will return the on error function, which is we will pass the error. That's it. So basically guys, we need to define this function on error. So, and basically if no error take place, then we also need to reset the form, reset the input fields. So for doing this, we will simply call a function which will do this task for us, which is called as on submitted. We will pass the response object to it. So basically guys, we need to define these two methods here, on error and on submitted, right here at the very top. So basically we need to define these two methods. So this on error will be very simple, on error, and this will take the error and simply it will set the error. This will be arrow function. It will call this hook variable set error and it will pass the error. That's it. And here we are calling this method here on error like this. So after this guys, you will now see we also need to make this function which is on submitted, and inside this we need to reset the form value. So set form target we will set to null, and also we will set the second variable which is set error, we also need to set it to null like this. That's it. So you can see that we need to pass these functions to the component guys, which is link form, because in this component these two functions are not available. So we need to explicitly pass these functions as a property. So right here we need to pass these functions. So whenever we are calling this component here, right here, so whenever we are calling it, we need to pass this function. So first we will pass the on submitted. We will pass as a property inside this object. We need to pass the function on submitted, and the second function we need to pass is on error, and we will pass this function on error. So right here inside the properties, inside the component here guys, we will receive this, basically this function. So right here basically inside our function we will receive all these, put a comma, we will receive on submitted, and we will also receive the on error. That's it. So we are calling these methods right here. It is passed as the property. You can even pass methods as props inside React.js. So this is the beauty of React.js. And after this guys, basically here we need to create a record here. We are calling this method links.create, and now we simply need to return something from this component. So right here we will simply have a return statement, and from this we will have a simple form element guys. So inside this form basically we will have a label which is called as it will be inside the span tag we will have a simple title. So inside the title guys, after this we will have a simple input field here. Input type will be equal to text, and we will be giving a value to it of title, and we will have a simple on change. So let me first of all, value will be a title. You will see that we have declared this as a hook variable right here. So whenever the value is changed of this input field guys, we need to also attach a event handler which is called as on change. So whenever this execute guys, this callback function will execute, and we need to set the title. We need to call this method set title. This will be equal to e.target.value, e.target.value. That's it. This is a very easy stuff guys inside React.js. So similarly, we will have a second label which will be uh, for the actual link which we need to insert inside our MongoDB database. This will be the second property. Basically, you can call this as URL depending upon whichever you need to do. And then we need to define this inside the span tag guys. So simply we will have the span tag. Then we will have a simple input field guys. Input type will be text, and also here we will define the on change. So we will again set this time the URL, the second function of the hook, set URL. So again e.target.value, and the value, actual value, will be equal to, guys, URL. That's it. So close this. So we have defined this right here. So these are our two input fields out there. Then we will simply have a button here to submit the form. So input type will be submit, and the value of the button will be simply to submit the form. That's it. So now right here, guys, if you refresh the application, basically you have a simple button out there. If you click this button, you will now see that it will show you the title and the URL and a submit button. So it is saying that method links.create is not found, 404. So we need to create this method, guys. So inside our server folder here, inside the server folder, inside our main.js, we need to define this function. So first of all, we need to import the links collection from imports API link. So this needs to be the same here. After this, guys, we need to delete all this stuff here. We need to delete all this. We need to now define the actual method which is required here. So we will be defining the methods by using called as Meteor, and it contains a method, guys, which is called as methods, and this expects an object, guys. So here you define your methods. So the first method will be to create the record. So here we will define links.create, and here this will be a simple function, callback function. It will receive the title and the URL that we need to create, and inside this function, guys, we need to simply insert the record inside Mongo collection, insert title and URL. So for inserting it, we have to have return statement, and basically we have the links collection, the table, and it contains a method called as insert to insert the record, and here we will pass the title and the URL inside an object, title comma URL. That's it. So this will return the actual record, guys, which has been inserted. As you can see, we have defined this one method. This is very simple. This is the name of the function. Inside this function, this is a code which is goes in. We are calling this method here, which is called as links.create. This needs to be the same here. Spelling needs to be same. If you now refresh it, if you see here, uh, basically, let me see what is the problem. It is saying unexpected token. Sorry, we need to also pass the actual property, guys. So inside info.jsx links.create, this is the title and the URL, uh, links.create. I think we need to restart the application for this. So simply just type here Meteor. So it will restart the application here. It is just building the local packages here. So just wait. If you're watching it for the very first time, guys, then please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. I am seeing that people are not liking the content. Only 3 likes are there. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel. So it is restarting the application. So you can now see app is listening on port 3000. So if you click this button, I think why it is not showing it. Let me see. I think we have made a mistake here inside this server file. So uh, let me paste it here. So just paste all these methods, guys, and let me refresh it. I think there is no error right here. We have defined this method here, which is for creating the record. I think there is just some kind of mistake here inside this component. Let me paste once again this code. This is the function. Uh, Type is insert. Oh, sorry. You can see that, guys, we are forgot to attach the on submit event handler. So that was a problem. So inside the form, when we submit the form, when we click the submit button, we need to attach this on submit event handler. So we need to create this method here, which is called as on submit. on submit here, we need to create this method here on submit. So right here, we need to create this method guys, which is on submit. So right here, we will simply create this method here, which is on submit. So right here, we will define inside this function, inside this component. So we will define this on submit e. So here we will first of all prevent the auto submission of the form guys, e.prevent default. And here first of all we will check for the operation if type parameter is equal to insert. So basically if the type is insert, in that case we need to shift all this code guys. We need to shift all this code inside this So here guys, you can see that inside the on submit here, we need to shift this code here. So if the we need to check for the type parameter here. So all this code that we defined outside, we need to copy paste this code right here. So let me copy paste this code inside the on submit. So when we click the submit button, we need to check this condition first of all after e.prevent default. So here, if any sort of error take place, we need to call the on error, and then we need to reset the input field. So here we are calling that a server method, which is links.create, which is present inside main.js. You can now see links.create. So here we are passing the title and the URL. That's it. So if I now refresh it now, click this, pass the title Google and type the URL google.com, and basically it is submitted. It has created that record. Now we need to loop through all the results which we create. So as you can see, the records are not shown here when we load the page. So now only the create operation is working. Now we need to loop through all the records which are created. For doing this, it's very easy. Right here at the very top, basically we need to use a method here to fetch all the records from the memory. For fetching all the records guys, basically we need to define a function here which is called as links, and here we will use the use tracker hook, which is available use tracker hook. And inside this we need to simply basically return all the links which are available. So we will use the links collection. So this also we need to import at the very top. So first of all we will import our use tracker. This needs to be imported from the Meteor package slash react meteor data. And also we need to import the links collection, and then here we need to import it from the slash API. slash links like this. So it is there inside slash API folder slash links. So we need to import this. So right here now we can use this. So links collection. And here this contains a method, guys, which is called as find. It will find all the records, and here we need to fetch also. So right here. So it will fetch all the records and it will return it inside this variable which is links. So right here, guys, we need to loop through all the records side out there inside the HTML. So here, first of all, basically whenever we are returning the HTML here after this h2 tag here, we will use a simple UL element, UL tag, unordered list, and here we will be using links dot map method basically to loop through all the records. And for each record, guys, basically inside this map function we will have the actual link. For each link, basically for each link, uh, we will have the link element, sorry, li element, which is a list item. So we need to attach a key parameter which will be the actual ID. So it will be accessed using link dot underscore ID, because in MongoDB ID will be accessed using underscore ID, which is an object ID which is unique primary key of the table. It is unique for every item. Then we will simply have a href tag, guys. So this will be equal to link dot URL, and basically this will be link dot title. And also we need to attach a target attribute which is blank. I think this needs to be this one, parentheses like this. So this needs to be in a single element. So this needs to contain a parent element like this. So just surround this inside this parent element like this. So just after this, guys, after you show this, if you refresh it now, basically, so it is refreshing the application. So we need to say Meteor. So it is building out the application, starting the MongoDB, and it has started the app. I think there is some kind of error. Let me refresh it. So right here, basically just paste all this code. I think we have made a typing mistake. So if you refresh it now, guys, it will refresh the application. Let me see what is the problem here. Basically, we have the links here. Uh, Sorry, we are not importing Meteor here. That's the problem. So we also need to import the Meteor dependency right here at the very top. So import it. Let me paste all this code here. I think, yeah, this is for, so this is a client code. So let me paste this code right here. So if you refresh it, this one. So this is the one you can now see, guys. You can now see. Basically, it is looping through all the records right here. And let me delete this condition right here. So if you see guys, let me also remove this. Also, so as you can see, we are looping through all the records out there. Inside each element, we are providing two buttons, either to update the record and then we have a delete button. So when we click the update, we are again calling this method of hook, which is set form target. And this time we are providing the type parameter to update. And here also we are providing a doc as well, which is link, the actual link here, which needs to be updated. And in the link, in the delete parameter guys, we are calling this method, which is remove. So now we are providing the ID of the element that we need to delete, link dot underscore ID. So right here we need to define this method. So when we click this delete button, nothing happens. So now right here we need to define this method, which is remove. So this will be arrow function, and basically it will access the ID which is passed to it. So now to remove the element, it's very easy. We will basically call a method here in the backend. Again, we will use Meteor dot call, and here we will call links dot delete method. And here we will pass the ID, actual ID that needs to be deleted of the element. And if any sort of error take place, then we will set the error to the actual error. If no error take place, then this null will be attached to it. So right here we need to define this method. So the next method will be simply be uh, links dot delete. This will be a function, and the actual ID will be passed to it inside our server file here. So you need to put a comma here after one method. So do you have links dot delete? So this will be we need to destructure it. So we will need to extract only the ID. So here we need to return links collection, and for deletion we have the remove method. We will pass the ID. That's it. So this will remove the element. If you now click the delete button, if you refresh it, click the delete button. Let me see in the browser. So it is saying that ID is not defined. Reference error, ID is not defined. In info, or sorry, this needs to be underscore ID. So if you see inside our basically a remove method, we have got the ID like this. So we are passing this ID as an object right here. So just make sure that you do like this. Click on delete now. You can now see it is deleting it, all the elements. If you click delete, so all the elements are deleted, guys. You can now see. If you refresh the page, nothing will be there. If you click create new Google, if you now try to create a new record, our record is created. If you click delete, your record is deleted. So in this way guys, now we only need to update the record. Update operation is remaining. So if you click the update, this form will be shown, and the details will be pre-filled inside the input field. So now we just need to basically, when we click the update button, you will see we are making this type to update, and we are passing the actual doc. And whenever we are doing this, we are rendering this link form. We are passing this actual doc as well. You can now see form target doc dot doc here. You can now see we are passing this property here. So right here, when we are making this, we are receiving this doc. So right here, we need to write a second if condition. If type parameter is equal to update, in that case, we need to update the entry. So for this, we will be calling a method which will be links.update. And for this we need to pass the actual ID as ID, and also we need to pass the doc as well. So if any sort of error take place, we can simply return the on error. If no error take place, then we can reset the form on submitted and response. So I think this is the code which is required for this. So I can cross check here. So basically this will be, so the ID will be equal to doc.id, and then we also need to pass our title.url. That's it. Doc underscore ID. This is the ID we are passing it. So right here inside our main.js, we need to now create a third function for the update process, which is links.update. This will be a function, callback function. It will hold the actual ID which is passed to it. So here we will get the ID. We will use the destructuring, title and the URL. So right here we will first of all make a set variable which is an empty set, empty object. So here if you check if the title is set, then we will simply say set.title, which will be equal to title. If URL set, then we will simply say set.url URL. And we need to just return the links collection dot update method, and here we will pass the actual ID and the actual set very object. That's it. That's all that we need to do, guys, inside the update. So if you click the update, if you change the value to, let's suppose, click submit, you will see the it is updated. If you click this, you will go to google.com. So in this case, guys, we have built a CRUD kind of an application inside Meteor.js. So this is built using React.js frontend. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well if you're watching it for the very first time. And if you have any sort of questions, guys, you can ask in the comment section. And also hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. I'm seeing that people are not liking the content, only 5 likes are there. So increase these like number to 10 likes, guys. Please hit that like button, subscribe the channel. जो भी देख रहा है, please like करिए वीडियो को, subscribe कीजिए. और if you have any sort of question, guys, related to this project, you can ask in the comment section. All the source code is given in the description of this video, in the live chat as well. This is a blog post I have written step by step. All the instructions is given in the blog post. So if you want to follow along with the video, you can go to the blog post and download all the source code, copy paste all the source code. So this is all the source code which is given here. So if you have any sort of questions, you can ask in the comment section. If you don't have questions, guys, I will close out this live stream. Hello sir, hello, comments are there, but people are not asking questions. If you have still questions, guys, related to Meteor.js, it's a very good framework, full stack framework. We have looked at how to create a CRUD application using MongoDB. In memory, we are not used a particular database, it is just a persistent memory. So I think it's a very good framework. You should definitely develop apps. Can be used to develop mobile apps and desktop applications too. So it's a very good alternative to Express.js. So thanks very much.